Okay, so there was a movie that I saw. Um, I'm forgetting the name of it right now, but I did write notes on the movie, so I might touch on some of that. So, I was saying how the movie reminded me of Song of Solomon with the garden, and also it kind of reminded me of the Cinderella story. So, in this movie, the main male character, um, like he was never able to get like physically excited from anyone, including his ex-wife. And she was honestly shallow and willing to take anything she could get from him. Um, but you know, there was a time where he did end up trying to rekindle or reconnect with his ex-wife, and he just kind of looked completely empty and deflated afterwards. Um, so there was another, like the female main character. It's kind of like a romance between the two of them. And so she was the only one that actually excited him, and he struggled with that because he was taking the pills, you know, to be, you know, functioning. You know what I mean? So she was the only one that was able to, you know, get him excited. And even with like, you know, what God is doing in these unions, like other, you know, people, you know, like it may be like kind of a lust thing with other people, but like no one is able to actually capture them, you know, capture their heart and really excite them, and have and them having a desire for true intimacy the way it'll be with you, because you know, you were meant for them, you know, and God is going to give them that desire for you. um so yeah, so she was basically kind of homeless. Okay, I do remember the name of the movie now. I think it was called Nowhere to Go But Up. Um, and so, yes, okay, so I'm gonna keep going. So, um, yeah, so she was basically homeless, but she was in New York City, and she had these big dreams to be a famous actress. But in her time of being homeless, she just ended up staying in the garden where the man lived. And so she was using his garden hose to wash up and basically take a shower. And he looked out the window and saw her, and that's when he got excited. And it also kind of reminds me of like David and Bathsheba in a way, but she did still have clothes on, but you know, she still had some sort of clothing on, but he was still, you know, just watching her and admiring her. And over time, his feelings for her kind of developed. Um, so the thing is also, like, she was getting attention from other men. And in this time, you might also be getting attention from other men, you know, because you are this bright light, and, you know, this light, it shines, you know, it captures people's attention. It's something that is noticed, you know, and so this might be something that you might be experiencing. Um, but even though she got the attention from other men, she didn't really like entertain them. She was positive and she had a strong faith, and that was definitely something um, that you could see in the movie. Like she really believed that, you know, it was possible for her to reach her dreams. She believed that things would get better for her and she would make it to the top. Another thing, she was wondering why he was treating her so bad, and she realized that it was because he loved her. But he would deny it and never admit it. So yeah, in the movie, he was really like being rude to her, disrespectful to her. He tried to kick her out. He was basically just rejecting her and saying mean things and things like that. And at first, she really did like take it to heart, and she was mad and upset and everything like that. But then she realized that he was actually in love with her. And when she said that to him, he didn't deny. Well, he tried to act like it wasn't true, but like he really couldn't deny it. Um, but he would never admit it. So then and then another thing, there was a point in the movie where she fainted and he took her into his apartment and he removed her clothes. So there were moments that he helped her, but also moments where she felt taken advantage of. So she basically fainted in his arms after they had this big fight. And so like I think that was the time where he was like trying to kick her out. And then she like went up to him and she basically fainted, so he caught her and he brought her inside. So when she woke up, she realized that he had removed her clothes, so she was just like in her underwear basically. And she was like, "Why did you remove my clothes?" And so she felt kind of like taken advantage of because she wasn't awake when he did that, you know. But he just didn't want. He was just kind of saying like he didn't like because he didn't know why she passed out. Like he didn't know if it was because she was overheated or something like that. But that also again kind of confirms like the physical attraction because he was physically attracted to her. Um, the thing was that he wanted to make sure that she didn't have any needle marks on her body because he wanted to make sure that she wasn't doing drugs. So your spouse may have been very skeptical of you in the beginning and may have thought that you were kind of trouble, you know. So yeah, that was the part of the movie where she admitted that she was a virgin. So so she was like, "Oh, I'll have to see if I'm still a virgin because, you know, he took her clothes off." And so for this part as well, like some of you that are standing might be a virgin. And so, you know, God just wants you to really just embrace that and just remember to wait until the time is right. Um and just know that you know the spouses are going to be desiring you, you know, and so you really just have to, you know, have those boundaries because they are going to want to really just, you know, take you in and just, you know, make sure that you're okay and things like that. Like, you know, they do have this strong desire for you, but they also are going to just want to make sure that you're okay and just be gentle with you and things like that. Um, but at the end of the movie, she was the one that ended up taking off her clothes for him. So, you know, we don't want to do that part before marriage, but it just goes to show that, you know, she was in this place where by the end of the movie where it was just clear that the love between them was there to the point where she was the one taking off her clothes for him. So it kind of like, you know, that thing kind of shifted. Um, but I think that it also represents like vulnerability because, you know, in Genesis 2,